Welcome. My name is Thomas, and we're going to talk about in Module 4, preparing self-employed returns. In my Drake Fast Track course, this course is designed to help business owners who are using Drake, who are new to using Drake, learn how to use it much faster and quicker. And as a bonus for purchasing the software, I'm going to teach you and show you how to build your business much faster and quicker, because you're going to utilize my 19 years of experience, 13 as a business owner, to get that done. And so in this module, we're going to start with the first self-employed video out of 7, which is painters. And so I'm already on the Drake screen. I'm about to log in with my password because my username is already sitting there. And then I'm going to log in. Well, didn't get that right. Let me see. Okay, so I'm in Drake. We have updates that need to be done, so take care of that update right quick. Anytime you log into Drake, when you got an update, always knock it out, because it affects how the tax information calculates. Because if the updates are not correct, it could play a role in calculating your refund amount or balance due. So always log in, and if there's an update need to be done, take care of it right then and there before proceeding to do a return or to go inside of already created return. And so we're finished with the update. And so we're going to start with a new one. Put in the social. Type that in. And that sound we hear is from quick return. Yes, we like to quick return. Put the social in again. See, my software is configured to put the social in twice, just to make sure we don't e-file the incorrect social and have to fix it and do it all over again. So that's the purpose of having the social configured to have to be verified. And so then we go with the client. And this one here, like I said, is the self-employed painter. He has no children. And so he'll be 1 for single. Date of birth. Occupation, like I said, painter. Telephone number. We're going to go with address. And like I said, this year's software, on the first page, it asks the question of, do the client have any cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, any foreign currency? And so we click on this here, and we answer the question appropriately, which is no for this particular client. And so that's one of the new features. Drake is always modifying the software on some level. And so that's one of the things they asked this year on the first page that they didn't ask in the previous software from 2018. And so to come out of each page, we hit the escape button, and we go to the next. And so since we're dealing with self-employed income, we're just going to go straight to income tab. We're going to go to Schedule C, which is self-employment. We're going to link it to the taxpayer. Like I said, painter. Go to the business code. So there's some self-employed individuals that you might do on a regular basis that you might come to remember the code. Some you won't. And so I'm familiar with some of the most commonly used ones, and so what I've decided to do is put in the first 3 numbers. And from there, it gives me a list of possible options. And so I got it right here. This particular client doesn't have his own EIN number, but what you want to do with the client is educate him and let him know that IRS recommend that you use an EIN number to do business with and not your social, even though it's not mandatory. It's just a recommendation. which allows you to have a separate number associated with your business opposed to using your social. And so what will happen is this client will more likely, for the most part, take our recommendation. And so we will create an EIN number before the client even come back and is ready to do the tax return. And so he'll have that number already. But for training purposes, I won't have a number in this particular one, but that's generally how it works. And so the business name, he's using this Roy Paint Shop Express. The address is separate from his home. He doesn't work out of home. He has a separate location for that. So he's going to put the address for the separate location. Zip code. And did he prepare any 1099s? He said no, so we click no to that. The income, I'm looking at his summary sheet of income and expenses, and so the summary of income he reported was $29,379, and so this here section, part 2 for expenses, a lot of times self-employed individuals won't have any expenses that really will relate to what they do as far as their business in this section, unless they have a commercial or retail location. And then in that situation, then some of the items in part 2 they'll be able to use. But for the most part, if they're a self-employed individual like him, he has a separate location, so he'll be able to put rent in this section for the year, which is $12,800, he said. And any specific expenses that's related to the type of self-employed business work he does, we will put here under other expenses, because we get to type out and show the IRS what actual expenses he had and how much he paid in expenses for the year that was associated with the business. So the first one is paint. And since painting is what he do, that'll be the biggest expense for the most part inside of his business. And so the amount he had down on his paper is $49,279. His next expense he had was brushes. And the amount for that for the year was $1,097. Then he had tape, a certain tape they use. He got down $397. He has drop cloth. They use, and he said they spent this much. He has so those were the expenses that he gave me come out of that. And what we'll do is come out of here and we'll go back to General tab and we'll finish filling out the remaining forms that we've done in every return. And the PIN number, the first one I'll start with, and that's the form we use to e-file the form electronically to the IRS. So today's date and my PIN number. Their PIN number automatically generates, and if they had an identity theft PIN, they will go right across from their PIN number. But since they don't, that's the situation with that. Hit escape. Then we go to disclose tax return information. Put in the date, which allows us to generate the form, and they can sign off on it at the end of the interview. Put in the date. Then we put the ID. He's driver's license he gave me. And so Illinois is the state I'm in, and so these are the clients that's issue date. So we go to miscellaneous, we go to consent disclose. This one we type in the name, the date, and click the appropriate box. Don't come out of that to escape. Go back to the journal tab. And so we'll calculate this to see what we're looking like. And so generally, true self-employed people, unless they had dependents and they made a certain dollar amount after the expenses were made, generally will not receive a refund. And so in his case, he didn't make any money. He had a loss. And so he don't owe any federal or state taxes because the only income he had was from self-employment. And so what I'll do is we'll go to view mode, take a look at the return, look at 1040 and show you right here is the negative $35,247 he had. Expenses, his standard deduction was $12,200. And so like I said, since he didn't have no other source of income which had federal withholders in it, and all he had was self-employment. Then we have Schedule 1, and we have actually Schedule C. So his income was $29,379, but he had expenses that caused him to have a loss. And the problem with the type of loss he has, it's going to generate an audit eventually if he keep having these type of losses. And that's the thing I've learned based on my experience that you don't learn in the classroom. And so this is a 1040. He's a painter. It's the name of his business, address, location, cash-based business. He didn't have any 1099s. He had to report. And so, like I said, he had rent, and then other expenses. This is a breakdown of the expenses he had inside of his business, which generated the loss for him. And then when it comes to Schedule A and OL, non-operating loss, this form generated because based on the type of loss, how much of the loss, it generated this form. And then when it comes to the 1040, like I said, since he had no withholdings from outside income, he don't owe anything, he doesn't receive anything. So that's how self-employed businesses work who don't have any deductions or credits or any outside withholdings that is going to be calculated with the return that may generate a refund amount in that case. So in this here module, which is self-employed returns prepared inside Drake Fast Track course, the first one is painter. And so we have 6 more self-employed videos that go inside this module that's part of the course. And the next one will be self-employed person, which will be, let me see, will be the next one coming up. The next one coming up will be janitorial. So that's the next module and video inside the module. And I'll see you in the next video.